All right, what's going on, y'all? Today we're going to talk about why most people trying to make it in the fitness industry will never become a successful fitness influencer. Hopefully I can save y'all some time from my mistakes that I've made and help y'all have a greater chance of success at, making it as a fitness influencer. A lot of people think they see people like C-Bum and they think all they have to do is get a physique, start posting on social media, and the numbers are going to come flowing in. And for most people out there, almost everybody out there, even genetic phenoms, that's typically not the case. So, what happens a lot of times now is any fitness modality, but we'll go ahead and use lifting or bodybuilding here. People will start lifting for 3 or 6 months, and then they go ahead and start posting on social media. And what they're posting on social media usually is, here's how to gain the most amount of muscle, in 8 weeks, or here's how the most efficient way to burn fat. They start putting things out as fact before they've even built the physique within themselves. We're going to talk about, the power of a journey in just a second, but if you're trying to be a fitness influencer, you're going to have some results to show from it. So if you're in the bodybuilding world, you're going to have at least a decent physique. You don't have to have a top tier physique or anything like that yet, but you're going to need to have at least a decent physique. If you're in the performance side, the hybrid athlete side, whatever it is, you're going to need to have some results from, success from your training. If you're trying to influence someone on how to do that. Now, you don't have to have the top tier physique right out the gate, but whenever I've had someone come up and ask me in person or like through DM or anything like that, how I've gone about growing my social media, what's worked well, I now have a lot more data behind it. But what I always told people is my social media has followed very much in line with my physique and my results. So as I've gotten a better and better physique, or I've had better results with training and all of that, the following has followed suit with that. So point here is you're going to have at least some level of results to at least start getting those numbers. Now, with that being said, you don't have to already have, the physique of like C-Bum, to become a decent influencer. I'm sure you see all the time, there's influencers out there that they might not necessarily have a top tier physique, but they've got some pretty solid numbers. If you don't have to be along the line all the way to, in A to Z, you don't have to be at point Z, already being a master of your craft, all of that, for person at, say point A to follow you. You could only be at, say, point D, meaning like you could have only been training, say, a year from now, and some complete new beginner can absolutely gain value from you. And then you showing your journey along the way and starting your journey early on will allow people to follow your journey. And that becomes very, very, very powerful. I've got people that have literally followed me now 5+ years, even back before I was into the fitness industry and I was in e-commerce and digital marketing. I've had people follow me all along the way, and they followed more of my life journey. So showing your journey is absolutely beneficial, but that's a long-term play. It's something that does work, assuming you are consistent and you consistently get better over time. It will work in allowing you to increase your influence, all of that, but you're going to have at least some level of results to show people before they go ahead and start following you. The amount of people trying to become a fitness influencer right now is absolutely insane. And a lot of those people really trying already have really, really great physiques. So whole point here is don't stress out if, right now you just don't have the time under your belt. Start showing your journey and allow the numbers to kind of come over time. And during this time too, you'll be able to continue improving your content as well. So getting into the second point about improving your content, this is probably the main point. The main reason I'm saying most people not making it in the fitness industry now, especially in the bodybuilding world, is everybody is a clone of each other. Not only in just the content they post, I'm sure you on Instagram alone, you see, everyone's posting the same exact type of content. Even besides that, everyone's starting to look exactly the same. So what happens is now you can have a really, really kind of top tier physique. You might already be, a nationally qualified bodybuilder or something like that. But everybody's looking the same and posting exactly the same content. There's nothing separating you apart from other people. If you want to make it in this game, especially in 2025, authenticity has to be a priority. You've got to start being authentic. And this is where, it definitely, you have to start coming up with ideas for your own. This doesn't mean you can't take motivation from other influencers you see and allow that to give you ideas for content types and all of that. But you've got to start being authentic and putting out what's coming from your heart, and what you're working with and all of that. Along with that, and along with, not being a clone and just accepting other people's knowledge and their content types and spitting that out as your own, you've got to start experimenting and coming up with your own theories around training, nutrition, all of that. And then testing it for yourself, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. Take in just the bodybuilding world, a lot of people have, the same exact coaches who are teaching the same exact things, prescribing the same exact type of plans. And so then the same exact stuff gets spit out. Nobody's really testing theories for themselves, or at least a very few small people are. If you start going ahead and testing your theories and you're authentic, you're honest with what you're doing, that's where you're going to have a much greater chance of success at making it, especially if, with point number one, you stay consistent over time, showing your journey, and especially as your results come in more over time. If you're sharing your journey while being authentic, while showing what works, what doesn't work, this is where people really, really start following you. What's going on right now is not only is everybody clones, but everyone's trying to act like they're perfect, they never make mistakes, and everyone's spitting out the same exact information. The third point is another really big point, and this is also coming along the the whole thing with not being a clone. Everyone's looking the same, posting the exact same content. Nobody is providing new value to people. So the way to make it on social media is you have to provide value, and you can do that in one of two ways: either A, motivation, or B, information and knowledge. So the first one with motivation, this is where you can go ahead and become an influencer and start getting numbers based off of just your physique, how you look like, and the motivation. You're motivating people to take action and all of that. With that, if you are going to be relying on the whole motivation element of this to grow as a fitness influencer, this is where you're going to need to really, really have a top tier physique. I mean, top tier physique does not just mean nationally qualified bodybuilder, even in some sense pro bodybuilder. You've got to have something that is separating you from everybody else, because a good looking bodybuilder now is a dime a dozen. You've got to have something. If you're trying to motivate people to make a change, get in the gym, eat right, whatever it is, and you're relying on motivation, to build your influence, you're going to have something that really, really, really sets you apart. That could be, you just have a different look. That could be you really, really have a top tier physique. That could be you have incredible results. I've got a buddy, he's an ultra runner, just ran across the entire state of Texas. And that's the type of stuff that sets you apart and really, really motivates. The other side, and this is what I would say is the easier way to make it as a fitness influencer, is providing value in the sense of information and knowledge. This is where, just like what I do in a lot of these videos, these talking head videos where, I'm trying to inform on things I've noticed work well for me, my clients, all of that, things that didn't work well, my full days of eating. This is, giving information, hopefully teaching some people on, what works well, what doesn't work, and just providing different ideas. This is the easiest way to make it in this world, but this is where authenticity has to absolutely be ingrained. Because if you're just spitting out the same information you got from someone else's video or content, it's not going to go anywhere. This is where you've got to go ahead and start forming ideas for yourself. And also, while you're forming these ideas from yourself, you got to go ahead and test them and be open-minded to accepting that you might not be, you're probably not 100% correct. There's so many nuances in the fitness industry. Everybody is an individual, and everybody's individual response to not only training, diet, everything's different. So you've got to be able to also work within the framework of that as well. But keep in mind when showing all of this, not only within being a fitness influencer, but in the business world, all that, the general rule of thumb when having a mentor or trying to learn from someone, typically your ideal customer, your ideal follower is 5 years. It's you 5 years previously. So start thinking where you were 5 years ago, and put out content for that person. So it doesn't have to even be ultra specific. You can do some ultra specific videos for some of your kind of top of the line followers, but for the vast majority of people, if you're wanting to really, really gain influence and kind of those big numbers and all of that, you're going to have to start speaking to more beginners. So, if you're point F on the alphabet, you'll be speaking to, people who are A to C or A to D, whatever. The whole point is think where you were back in the day. If you're not even 5 years into your journey, that's completely fine too. Think where you were a year ago and try to speak to who you were a year ago. What content would you have needed and wanted then? That's the content you should put out. If you can think of exactly where you were a year ago, 2 years ago, whenever it was, the content that would have provided you the most value, whether in motivation or most likely in information, that content's most likely going to do really well. This is how I frame a lot of my videos, is I'm thinking about me personally going back years ago. What did I really need then? What would I have really gathered value from? And that has really, really, really helped my content. The mistakes I made in the beginning, up until I would say probably about 2 years ago, is I was doing the same thing everybody else was doing. I was just posting pictures or videos of my physique. And while I still provided value and all that on YouTube, especially with Instagram, it was still just my physique. And yeah, I was trying to help motivate people and all that, and was not coming from a arrogant or egotistical standpoint, but that's definitely how it looks. If you go on someone's page and all you see is a picture of their physique, I can't tell you how many times I go onto a bodybuilder's page and their entire page is just their stage shots. And then they're expecting to become a big fitness influencer. At the end of the day, you have to recognize that unless you're already someone who's already really made it, nobody cares. Nobody cares. So if nobody cares about you, how are you going to be able to speak to that person? You've got to go ahead and find a way to provide value to a person without, just providing, just pictures of yourself. It's not going to work. That's what I did with me, and the rate of growth was so incredibly slow. So that was probably the biggest mistake I made, is essentially point number 2, I was being a clone to everybody else and just throwing up pictures or reels of my physique and thinking that was that. You've got to be more authentic. You've got to be a little bit of a deeper thinker. And the best way to go ahead and do that is think about where you were in your fitness journey previously, and what you would have needed and wanted value-wise from there. If you do that, I guarantee you it'll speed up your process on you having success in the fitness industry. Then, when you start gaining numbers, and you don't even need to have massive numbers to start making money and potentially even, have a business or a full-time income from being a fitness influencer on Instagram or YouTube or whatever. You don't need a ton of followers or subscribers to do that. But that's where, if you're wanting to do that, you're going to have to provide deeper and deeper and deeper value. The earlier you start providing that deeper and deeper and deeper value, while still providing content that really goes out and gets a wide audience, wide reach. You want to kind of have multiple content types that you're tackling both. You've got one that's expanding to kind of a wider niche of people, a wider reach, but then also you have your content that is for people really, really trying to go a little bit more in depth. If you start doing this, you're going to start, one, you're going to be getting people into where they like what you're talking about, they start trusting you, and now you're also going to have content for everybody out there. Everybody from an off-the-street beginner to some people that, they might be looking for a little bit deeper stuff. You do this, you will definitely make it a little bit further in the fitness industry. But big point with all of this is, some people come out of the gate, and, this is a misunderstanding, especially a lot of the new guys getting into the game. A lot of the younger people think that, because they've seen, some examples of people just overnight making it, and, the dark sport people, young LA people, they're all clones of each other. At least that's what it looks like, a lot of time. They see that and they think that, I can be an overnight success. For 98% of you out there, that's just not going to be the case. Not only are you working on separating yourself from other people, but you're also playing the algorithm game as well. So my whole point with this is, if this truly is a goal and you want to be a fitness influencer, or you want to make money in the fitness industry, you want to have a business around this, you're going to have extreme consistency. Consistency with not only posting schedule, but also consistency in trying new things and constantly leveling up your content. If you're constantly focused on leveling up your content and you stay consistent, you absolutely will go on social media, and you can definitely have a business in this game. But the whole point is, you got to get better and better and better over time. and then the followers will come. But I hope this saves some of you some time out there, some headache. It's definitely a struggle for so many. It's been a struggle for me in the past. So hopefully this will save you some time and some headache. You trying to kind of gain some influence, and that way you can be a positive influence for other people. And that's the thing too, guys. Keep in mind, if you want to make it in this game for a long period of time, just getting in this game and doing that whole kind of just dark sport, young LA thing where you're just kind of pushing an apparel brand and focus just on your physique, a lot of times those people don't last more than a few years. The people that you see that have lasted 5+ years in the fitness industry are people truly putting out some really solidified value. So keep that in mind. But if you do, let me know, you guys, if you want to see more details on this. I can expand on each one of these topics way more. I can go into the algorithms of Instagram. I can go in the algorithm on YouTube. Those are drastically different, and they're beasts on their own. But let me know what you guys want to see. Drop that down in the comments below. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please go ahead and smash that like button. Be happy, be positive, be powerful. Have a great rest of your day.